Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Katherine Economou, and it's my joy to welcome you this morning to the Center for Spiritual Living Temecula Valley in our Sunday celebration service. I'm joined by our Artistic Director, John Foltz. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
And we have our Practitioner of the Day today, Pam Migliozzi, who's off camera, but did a beautiful meditation this morning. Thank you so much, Pam.
Thank you.
And we actually even have our Practitioner, Don Taylor, holding light for us today in the space, and we're so grateful for him. And we are grateful for you. We're grateful that you decided to join us this morning. We're ready to celebrate this moment of spring, to remember the truth of our lives, and we're going to do it with a lot of joy. How about that?
Yes, that's great. Spring has sprung.
Spring has definitely sprung, and so I think we can get ready, get started.
We shall get ready. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. From a world filled with chaos and noise, I awake to these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said. And right here in this holy silence, I find God, I find myself.
In this silence, these beautiful words, I know that God is right here, right now. We are one with the divine presence. I know this to be true. We are all connected. There is no separation. I know that there is love. I know that there is peace. For I know that I am one with this God. And as I know this to be true for myself, I know this to be true for each person that is with us today. The love and the presence of God extends beyond this room, connecting each of us throughout our beautiful community and throughout the entire world. And I know that as this service unfolds this morning, that there is beauty, there is joy, there is love, there is peace, there is understanding. And I am so grateful for this opportunity to be here today. So I just simply, knowing that all is good, all is very, very good, for all is God. This service now unfolds. let it go, and I let it be. And so it is.
Thank you, Pam. That was beautiful.
Thank you,
We're
Katherine.
so blessed by you. Thank you, John. That was lovely
Thank you.
also. And again, I'd like to welcome you once again, whether you have been a long time a member of CSL TV or you're just finding us today. We want to welcome you with loving, open, electronic arms to say good morning and to wrap our arms around you from afar.
Like robots.
Robots.
Electronic
No,
arms.
electronic arms. Yeah. Well, I don't know what was the word.
No, that's good.
But you know, our founder Ernest Holmes used to say, "There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it." And that is one of the key gifts of the science of mind philosophy that we study and that we live. That we remember the fact that we are not alone. That there is this power, this presence that is beyond each and every one of us. It's what we call God. And that presence of God loves us so much, it wants our lives to be a full expression of who we've come here to be. And so what we know is that we are never alone. As we deepen in our understanding of this, as we open to letting go of the limitations we put on ourselves, we are able to create lives of fulfillment, of joy, of purpose, and of meaning. And so that's what we do for one another here at CSL TV. We know the truth for one another because we know that God lives right at the center of each and every one of us and all beings everywhere. And so when we look upon one another, we see the potential, we see the possibility, we see the power that to create what it is that we want. And we hold that space for one another. And that's why our community is so sweet, because we hold each other up, we hold each other high. And so it's in that sense of love and that sweetness that I welcome you this morning. We are here for you. We are here to remind you of who you truly are. We are here to remind you that you are not alone, and we are here to remind you that this life is something to be celebrated and lived well. And so with that, we have a little bit of a flower dedication today. We've got a flower arrangement, and it is in celebration of our own beloved Diane Key's birthday today, our administrator, who is our camera person today and didn't know that these flowers were for her. So happy birthday, Diane. This is from your board. This is from the board, and we love you. We are so grateful for you and everything that, not only everything that you do, but everything that you've done this year in this interesting time to keep us afloat, to keep us going and pointed in the direction. We are so grateful, and we wish you a very happy birthday and a year full of great joy. So sunflowers, bright like you, reminding that the light is alive, and we know that the light's alive with you. So happy birthday, Diane. Thank you. You're welcome.
It's just not a Sunday unless she cries.
I know,
at some
making
point,
Diane
so
cry.
we're just
Making Diane
following our
cry.
normal pattern.
I know. I didn't really think that through too well about making Diane cry while she's filming. So we forgive you for any Rocky on the camera. But with that, I think we should sing. We've got a song. So Pam, why don't you come on up and join me over here?
Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
spiritual practice together right where you are, I invite you to just close your eyes and take a breath. As we sit here on this beautiful spring morning with the warm temperatures and everything starting to grow and to bloom here in Southern California, let us just breathe in that fresh, new air of spring. And I invite you to just allow that feeling of gratitude to rise within you, that feeling of gratitude to grow within your heart. What is it that you're grateful for today? And as you ask that question, just allow the images and the feelings to come forward to you gently and organically. Maybe it's a face of a beloved. Maybe it's a joyful experience that you've had this week. Maybe it's something that you've seen out the window on this beautiful morning. Just allow, whether it's a large or a small thing, just allow the gratitude to grow. And then let something else come to mind, something else that you're grateful for. This week, I was speaking to a grandparent who got to hug their grandkids for the first time because they're fully vaccinated and they felt comfortable being with their grandchildren and hugging them for the first time in a year. And it just filled my heart with gratitude for this evolution, what we're moving into. What is it that is bringing great joy to you today? Just letting that expand within your being. When you're ready, you can come on back. Again, I remind us every week the power of the simple practice of gratitude, how that is cumulative and it's creative and it expands and it brings a new way of seeing and relating to our lives. And so when we get into those tough moments, when we get into something that's difficult, when we see something in front of us that feels too big to handle, we move straight into one thing you can be grateful for, and then another thing you can be grateful for. And pretty soon you realize that all your troubles and your worries and your woes are not as big as you thought they were, because there's so much support here for you. Our lives are so rich, our lives are so full, and there's so much to be grateful for. Today, I just want to say that I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful that you've decided to join us this morning and that you're here with us. And I want to extend that out to our entire congregation who has hung in with us this year, even in this time of transition and of change. We are so grateful that we are still able to share our message, to bring forth our ministry, and to begin to move back into being together, which you'll hear about more later. But we're so grateful for the ongoing financial support of our congregation. And this is our time of sacred giving, when you have the opportunity to choose to support the light of knowing, the light of joy, the light of peace, moving out into the world through this ministry. There are a number of ways that you could give. You could jump over to our website and hit that donate button. You could call our beloved Diane Keys and you could say happy birthday to her, and she could run a credit card for you, or you could mail in your offering to our mailing address here in Temecula. And we're just so grateful to be able to continue to do what we're doing and to move in the direction of expansion and coming together once again. And so I'm going to invite you to take that offering and place it on your heart, even the idea of it. And just breathe into this moment, into this gift, which is the abundance of God made manifest. I know that each of us is sourced and supported from on high, and that this gift goes to that place where we are fed, that we are served, that we are inspired and supported. CSL TV is a channel of light in the world, bringing forth truth, peace, compassion, and love. And so I know that this gift goes to support this evolution, this expansion, this pathway of coming back together, so that once again our community can be that in-person felt experience. And so we bless it, we give thanks for it, and allow it to be. And so I'll invite you to join me in saying our affirmation of abundance. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give and all that I receive. I am prosperous now.
Blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant. We rest in God and say, Amen. Blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant. We rest in God and say, Amen. Let our joy be so triumphant. We rest in God and say, Amen.
Good morning. Our spiritual reading for today comes from our book for this year, 365 Days of Richer Living by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. I am vitalized by the strength of God. If God is all the life that there is, then this life contains the only energy there is. If we are really hooked up with the eternal, everlasting, and perfect energy, then we should never become weary at all. And when we have an enthusiastic and glad outlook on life, we seldom do become weary. Therefore, we must convince ourselves that we are vitalized by the strength of God, and we must do something to ourselves which makes it certain that this is infinite energy shall increasingly flow through us. It is up to us to make the decision, to follow the course of affirmative thinking, prayer, and meditation, which shall continually keep this stream of divine energy flowing through our minds, our bodies, and our affairs, animating everything we do with a vitality that knows no weariness. Now, I invite you to close your eyes, take a breath, to center in, and to take in these words for the affirmation of the day. Today, I am energized by the vitality of the living Spirit. All the power that there is, all the energy and vitality that there is mine, and all the enthusiasm for life, the glad expectation of the more yet to be, and all the gratitude for what has been and now is. Every weight or burden of thought or feeling falls from me, and I am lifted up into the atmosphere of that energy, that vitality which knows only the joy of its own being and the strength of its own being. I am one with all this, vitalized, energized, and magnetized by the living Spirit. This energy is never depleted. It is never lessened. All of it is present right where I am. All the enthusiasm for life is right where I am. And all the joy in living is right where I am. Everything within me, then today and every day, responds to the thought that I shall be glorious in the eyes of the Lord, and my God shall be my strength. And so it is.
So much, oh my goodness. And so I think we've got a special song for us.
We do.
Yes, please
We do.
welcome John Foltz.
Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. I say it's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. I say it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to the faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. I say it's alright. Sun, 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 here it comes. 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 Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. I say it's alright. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. I say it's alright. It's alright.
Beautiful,
Thank you,
perfect.
thank you, thank you.
Yes, that was perfect. Thank
The
you,
spring
John.
has sprung.
Spring has sprung, yes. Here comes the
Beautiful.
sun. Yay. Well, and again, we're in Southern California, so
Right.
here comes the sun.
That's what my mom says every time I come to visit.
Oh,
Here comes the sun.
Oh, there you go.
Grown.
Okay. And that one didn't come from me. Just remember that cheesy joke didn't come from me. All right, so we are so blessed. We have a guest speaker today, one of my dear friends and colleagues, Reverend Angela, who is a friend of the center. She's been with us a number of times before. She has a ministry up in Santa Cruz, and with the gift of technology, we're able to have her share a message with us today, and we're so grateful to have her with us. I just want to mention a little bit about Reverend Angela. You know, it's interesting, we've walked a similar path. Reverend Angela and I became practitioners at the same time 20 years ago. 20 years ago, this year will be our 20th anniversary of becoming practitioners. We then went into the School of Ministry together, and although I graduated a year before she did, we started ministry right at the same time. And we've kind of journeyed these parallel paths. Angela's been serving a couple of communities up in Santa Cruz, and obviously I've been down here in Southern California. But what I love about Reverend Angela and what I've learned about her over the years is that her really peaceful, down-to-earth wisdom is very powerful. And when she shares a message, it always reminds me of the truth of my being. And so I love to have her with us every once in a while, and I thought since we're still a little bit online and able to do some fun with our technology, we invited Reverend Angela to share a message. And so I am grateful for it. I want to welcome Reverend Angela, and I hope you enjoy it.
So good to be with you, lovely ones. Let us take a breath. Let us take a breath into that infinite potential, that divine love, that beauty, that grace that we are. When we're reminded of this, our world gets a little brighter and things get a little bit more balanced and harmonized. That's what I know. And it reminds me of a story of a monastery that was thriving for many, many years. It had beautiful grounds and bright colored flowers. Its building was kept in shape. It was polished looking and vibrant and energized. And the monks were fervent in their practice and their devotions. And many people came to the services to avail themselves of the beauty and sacredness of the space. And over the years, it started to decline a little. Over the years, the grounds became less well taken care of. The grass grew brown. The flowers weren't blooming. The building started to look shoddy, and things that needed to be repaired weren't being repaired. And the monks were getting tired, and they were less fervent in their practices and less energized in general, and people started not coming. And so it lost its life force, it lost its vitalization. And the abbot, being concerned about this, went to seek the wisdom of an old sage in the forest. And she said to him, I don't know what's happening in your monastery, but what I do know and what I can tell you is that there's a bodhisattva amongst you, an awakened one. And so the abbot went back to the monastery and passed on this information. And immediately there started to be a buzz. There started to be some energy flowing in the monastery. And people were saying, I wonder if I'm the awakened one. I wonder if that monk over there is the bodhisattva. Are they the awakened one? Who is the bodhisattva? And that energy started to hum. And with that, slowly, the monastery started to come back to life. The repairs that were needed were done. The windows were washed. Everything was sparkling. The grass was green again. The flowers were blooming again. There was beauty and harmony restored. And the monks woke up and got energized. And life started coming back into the monastery, and people passing by and with word of mouth heard about it, and more people started coming, so that after a few years, the monastery was back to its vital life force energy, in balance and in harmony. And this is a great story that reminds us of what happens when we remember our divine potential. When we remember our divine potential, there's hope. There's hope. We're reminded that in God all things are possible. We are reminded, as the Bible quote says, that I shall be glorious in the eye of the Lord, and my God shall be my strength. My God shall be my strength. And so, just like in the story, when we awaken, when we claim our divine and inherent birthright, when we take refuge in spirit within us, we rise up. And as we rise up, the world rises up with us. That's the truth. So my talk title today is Resting in True Refuge. And true refuge is spirit, it's God. And that's what we're called and who we're called to turn to again and again and again. And indeed, this is a time of evolving consciousness, is it not? It is said that we're moving through a portal right now. We're moving out of one way of being, maybe the vertical realm, this being overly attached and identifying with the physical. And we're being called more and more to move into the vertical, to move into that realm of spirit. You know, heaven and hell are states of consciousness. And what's going on right now on this earth plane in many ways can almost be considered hell without spirit in the equation. And when we remember this divine light of spirit, we're comforted, we're reminded that there's always a way, and the way is always being made clear in the divine. So, you know, Carolyn May invites us to see our bodies or our beings more as a building with many floors, and to imagine that if we're at the ground floor of that building, the ground floor of our being, right, we can't see the panoramic view that we can see from the top. And that in this ground floor, we are very much consciousness, ground floor consciousness, we're very much caught up in the physicalness of everything. We're very much caught up in the appearances, in the challenges, in the day-to-day people, places, appearances, and things. And we don't have much separation from them. That becomes our only reality. And as we start to move up the floors of our house, maybe, or our building, maybe to the second or third story of the building, we can see a little bit more. We maybe have a knowing, oh yeah, spirit is here. We start to separate a little bit. We start to recognize we're not just these physical bodies. And when we move into the vertical realm, when we move to the top floor of the building, the penthouse, that is where we get to see the full panoramic view and the infinite potentialities and possibilities that exist in spirit. We have a greater viewpoint. We see with the wisdom of the third eye that gets the big picture. So that's the journey we're on. We're moving away from, who we think we are, and we're moving more towards who we need to become. We need to become spirit beings first and foremost. We need to move from the love of power, what I like, what I don't like, what works for me and doesn't work for me, and all of that stuff, to the power of love, which is what works for the whole, which is a unity consciousness. That's what we're being called to right now. And this is an opportunity at these times for those of us that have been studying these teachings and these principles for quite a while now to really start to practice and live them. Thomas Merton says, life is this simple. We're living in a world that is absolutely transparent, and the divine is shining through it all the time. The divine is shining through it all the time. So how do we get to practice? How do we get to find it is a practice. We are called to our practice now like never before. In the reading for today, I think it was from Ernest Holmes and Charles Barker, they say it is up to us to make the decision to follow the course of affirmative thinking, prayer, and meditation, which shall continually keep the stream of divine energy flowing through our minds, our bodies, and our affairs, animating everything we do with the vitality that knows no weariness. There it is, right? Our practice, coming back to our practice. Now, it is easy when we're challenged, when we're hurting, when we're suffering, to seek something called false refuge. And false refuge is where we go to our addictive behaviors, where we numb out, where we people please, where we over intellectualize, where we maybe even do spiritual bypass, where we seek approval. All those ways of numbing and running are really a false refuge. They may create a little bit of comfort in the moment, and they're not lasting. They're not lasting. So true refuge is resting in the beauty and truth and goodness of spirit. And the Buddhists have a pathway of awareness, truth and love as a pathway for us to practice true refuge. So, let's start with truth. If we're to practice the true refuge of truth, right? We rest in the truth of the teachings. We get to rest in the teachings of Ernest Holmes and Science of Mind that says that there's an invisible essence of light, of love, of harmony, of peace and joy animating all of creation, and that we can rely on that and that we can trust that. And furthermore, that divine light and that divine potential lives and moves and has its being through and as each and every one of us. We get to take refuge in the teachings of spirit, of our teachings that say, in God all is well, and in God there's always a way, and in God the way is always made clear, and in God all is possible. And that's what we see from our penthouse consciousness. In the view of the Most High, when we're in our spirit self, we know that. We know. Maybe I don't know the answer and the solution and the miracle that could happen right now, but I know that in spirit, everything is possible. We get to rest in the truth of our teachings during this time, and the teaching that says there's a divine plan and it's always unfolding, and that there are no mistakes in God. We get to rest in the truth. We live this truth in the outer realm through the very fact that you're listening right now means you're seeking the refuge of truth through classes, book studies, the books that we read, right? We get to do we rest in the refuge of truth in our inner selves when we practice prayer and meditation. And when we're fully present with ourselves, there's truth in whatever is arising within our being. So what's really important, I believe, right now is for us to not skip over or bypass our reactions and our feelings. There is a lot going on. I know in my life I have heartache. I have people I love that are suffering. It's not easy. I hear so much about it collectively. We are challenged. It's intense and it's scary. And we have feelings around all of that. And they need to be tended to lovingly by us. And so the invitation is to practice what Tara Brach calls the RAIN meditation. I'm just going to take us through it very quickly. But if you want to look it up, it's RAIN, like the rain that falls. RAIN, R, we recognize that we're upset, or we're triggered, or we're yelling at the TV, or the driver in front of us, or we're challenged, we're terrified of a diagnosis we've got, or we're scared of our money situation, or we're so angry at the state of affairs in the world. We pause and we recognize it. And we get still and quiet. We recognize we accept and allow whatever it is that we're feeling. no judgment, no criticism, just allowing what is to be, accepting and allowing. We may need to cry, we may need to scream, we may just feel it as energy moving through our body, but we accept and allow. We investigate a little deeper. We investigate and we ask, am I being triggered to something deeper? Is there a false belief within me that is causing this reaction? Is there something within me that's needing healed? What is this really about? We just investigate and we nurture ourselves. And this is a crucial point, right? We bring love to ourselves. We nurture the part of us that's hurt, that's scared, that's angry, that's sad. And we bring spiritual truth to that part too, because both are true. I am a divine, joyous, free expression of spirit. And right now, I am really scared. I am really hurt. I am really grieving. Both are true. And we let the light of the divine truth sort of be like a warm healing salve on whatever it is we're experiencing. We're with the truth of what is. We rest in the refuge of love. You know, it is said that at some point in his incarceration, Nelson Mandela got really depressed. And it is said that he got depressed because he had no one to love. And that is when he started to love his guards. And that's why, you know, it was very hard for his guards to stay with him and punish him, because he loved. Love makes the way clear. We're moving into that time of really living in what unconditional love means and looks like. And it starts with self-love. Because I know for me, if I can't love all the parts of me, I can't love all the parts of you and the people around me. So we practice loving relationships. We practice showing up open-hearted, undefended, in love with our friends and family and community. And then we start to widen those circles of compassion so that it becomes a universal love. So we rest in the refuge of love to heal, to restore, to rejuvenate. And then we rest in the refuge of awareness, the awareness that right here, right now, where I am, where you are, Spirit is. That we stop and remind ourselves daily, I am the divine. I'm a spark of the infinite intelligence. When we remember that, we turn inward to the presence that's right here, right now. We're home. We're home in our divine body. We commune with nature, perhaps, because that reminds us of spirit. We do whatever we're called to do to take refuge in the awareness of the divine beings that we are. As we shift, as we remember our divine and inherent nature, the world is changed. The world is changed, and it is already changing. And I do believe we are called to step out with what Brené Brown says is a strong back and a soft front. And the strong back is what I've been talking about. It's being anchored in the power and the potentiality of spirit. It's being anchored in love. It's being anchored in our own divine power, so we have boundaries and we're committed to speaking our truth. And we're willing to brave the wilderness and step into the unknown, all of those things with a strong back. And yet we have a soft front. We have a soft front. Our heart is open. We have the heart of compassion. And this lights up the world. So there is within us, as I love to say, room for it all. And I was reminded of this at the Juneteenth, I think it was in Dallas, Texas, which, as you know, was, in honor of all the Black lives that have been lost. But what I was struck by during that, celebration, that ceremony, was that they all had yellow umbrellas that were open. Now, yellow is a color of hope. It's a color of aliveness and joy. And so what that was saying was, in the midst of it all, in the midst of the lives lost, in the midst of the mourning and the grieving and the heavy-heartedness and the anger, perhaps all of those emotions may have been present at that ceremony. But there was hope, the hope of spirit itself, the yellow umbrella signifying the light of the divine. The light of the divine that says, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. And in God, all things are possible. This truth that says there's a divine plan unfolding. We may not understand it. We may not like it. And it may not feel good. But we trust. We trust. That's what the yellow umbrella signifies. We trust that good is on its way. And that everything is happening for our greatest and our highest good. So let our God light shine. Let us be brave and courageous. Let us seek true refuge. Let us rest in spirit. Let us rest in awareness and love and truth. And let us hold tight to faith, bright faith, during these times, and let us walk this path together in love, and let us pray. One love, one heart, one divine presence, one sweet grace. Spirit, the divine I am itself, ever present, everywhere, in everyone, all of the time. The greatest love ever, shining its light through all of creation, animating itself in every nook and cranny of this universe of ours, no place where spirit is not. This divine I am singing its song and dancing its dance and joyfully expressing everywhere in everyone and everything all of the time, alive in me, alive in all of us, alive in every sentient being everywhere, that within us that is steady and essential and true. The light of spirit can never be extinguished. It burns brightly. It's the greatest part of us always. So how good it is to know that we step into our divine light this day, that we remember who we are, that we remember that, in God all is possible, therefore through me all is possible. We remember our divine and inherent birthright, spirit, filled with infinite potentiality, filled with harmony and freedom and wholeness and peace and joy. And we practice remembering who we are. We hang tight to our spiritual practice. We anchor ourselves in true refuge, and we're kind and gentle and loving with ourselves and with each other along the way. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to feel the power of these words I speak right now, the truth inherent in them. I'm grateful because even though things are intense and challenging and there is suffering right now, I know a greater truth is making itself known right at the same time. So I rest in this. I release my word to the very soul of the universe, knowing all is done. It's done in the mind of God. And I let it rest and I let it be. And so it is. Amen. Namaste, beloveds.
Thank you, Reverend Angela. That was such a great message. We're so grateful for your wisdom and your guidance. And now I'd like to welcome John Foltz back. He's got another song for us.
I am not from Santa Cruz today.
No, you are not, but we are glad you are from
live
here.
and in person. Well, live and in person. We're here.
summer and the winds changed, and the green was easy and the rivers ran clear. I dreamed of summer and the winds changed, and peace spread over the land. And the flowers bloom in the desert, and the air is fresh and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and the way was easy and the path was clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and peace spread over the land. And the garden stars are shining, and the night is bright and clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and the sound was easy and the song was clear. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and peace spread over the land. And the ancient pain is forgotten, and the Father's debts are clear. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, soft and easy, sweet and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. And the flowers bloom in the desert, and the air is fresh and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land.
Thank you, John. That was
Thank you.
beautiful. Oh, and so, that was lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so we have a number of events that are coming up. I want to remind you of our book study that's been meeting on Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to noon. They're finishing up their current book this coming Wednesday, and then they'll take a 2-week break. And after that, the mid-April, they'll start up and they're discussing which book they're going to do next. So as soon as we know that, we'll share that with you. But if you're interested in our Science of Mind book study, you want to contact our practitioner, Pam Migliozzi, who's with us today. Our men's ministry is meeting on Wednesdays. You can check in with Reverend Michael Summers about them. our Sisters in Spirit group. So they are meeting on the first and third Thursday mornings of the month. This next Thursday will be the first Thursday of the month, and so that's their Zoom meeting. So the first Thursday is on Zoom, and the third meeting is in person at Journey's Restaurant. Our Spiritual Connection at 7 series, again, is ongoing. We're doing 7 a.m., 7 p.m., 20-minute meditation with one of our ministers or practitioners. It's been a great way to stay connected in this time, and we expect that that's going to continue. And we invite you to join us and bolster your spiritual practice and see what a difference it can make for you. I want to remind you that we have our prayer room on Zoom after service. And so this is a service that our practitioners have been offering now. And I'll admit we haven't had a lot of people join on for that prayer room yet. So we're holding the space. The practitioner will be there from the end of service, as soon as we're done here, until 11:45. And so you can pop on over there and get connected with a practitioner and get an in-person, real-time prayer. And it's such an amazing, powerful support. So if there's something going on in your world, please jump on that link, come on over, reach out to one of our practitioners. If it's not in the time, real time, and you're in need, send me an email, send an email to one of our practitioners. Everybody is listed on our website at csltv.org. They want to be here for you. They want to know truth for you. If you're suffering, if there's something going on in your world that is challenging, please reach out so that we can hold you in prayer and we can support you. Because we know that spiritual mind treatment and prayer and connection really heals and it can make a difference for you. I'm very excited to talk about our service for Easter next week. We have been working on it, putting it together. So we are having 2 Easter services. We will have a regular service that will be on Facebook Live on Easter morning at 10 a.m. But we're having an in-person parking lot Easter celebration at 11 a.m. on Easter. And so if you do not have a reservation yet, please hit that link and come on over. We've got some spots left, and we are excited about it. It's going to be joyful and lots of music and lots of inspiration and celebration, little gift baggies, all sorts of different things are going to happen that day. We're going to have squares on the ground for each family group. You know, you just need one reservation per family group. We're inviting you to bring your own chairs. If you've got them, we'll have some available here if you need them. But we're going to celebrate outside. We know that Easter's going to be joyful and beautiful and perfect temperature and everything's going to just flow, but it'll be a joyful celebration, our first one back in person, and so we would love to have you join us. Please, please, please hit that link and have get a reservation and come celebrate Easter with us. The last thing I mentioned this last week, we are starting to offer some more workshops and classes. They're coming out. The first one is coming up on April 18th. It's a Sunday afternoon, and this is with our practitioner Beth Haas. In person here at the center, we are offering her vision board workshop. Yay! Yay! We're so excited. So we also have a link that you could get reservations for that. It's only open for 25 people. Now, if we sell that out, we've got another date that we could put another one on. But we have to limit the amount of people that can be at them. So 25 people. You can register online, hit that link that's in the chat. And the workshop is April 18th from 12:30 to 3:30. And so she uses visioning and the law of attraction for us to move ourselves in that next direction for our lives. And it's always such a powerful workshop. It's one of our favorites here at the center, so we invite you to join us. And so with that, I am ready for some prayer as we move into our Easter week. There's one more thing I did want to mention. I'm so grateful that Pam Migliozzi this morning mentioned she did her meditation on the loving kindness meditation. And she mentioned the shootings that happened both in Atlanta and Boulder over these last couple of weeks. And I just wanted to remind us of the importance of doing our own work to find the stillness and the peace within us. Because when there's peace in our minds and our hearts, and there's peace in our families, and when there's peace in the family, there's peace in the community. And when there's peace in the community, there truly is peace in the town, in the city, in the state, in the country, and in the world. It really does begin with us. And so as I pray today, and we hold all of those who have lost people in these tragedies, and all of the pain that this has brought up once again. I'm holding a light for peace, and I invite you to join me in knowing that peace is possible, that peace is that truth of God, that's the truth of each and every one of us, and we can choose that. And so I've been holding us all in prayer as we've witnessed this unfoldment, and I truly believe that prayer is the best way for us to center ourselves in that sense of peace. And so as we pray today, I invite you to join me with that. And so let us all just take a breath and sink into this moment, connecting to that essence, that energy within, that presence that we know is that divine touch, that divine spark of God. And so resting in this inner sanctuary, I remember Spirit itself. I remember God as that creative force of all life. I know that God lives and breathes and has its being as each of us, and it continually sources and supports its creation in bringing forth more of itself. So there is only more love. There is only more light, more joy, more peace, more harmony. And as we breathe that into ourselves, as we understand that this is a truth of our being, all of our choices, all of our creations, everything that we do is steeped in this essence and presence of oneness. For I know that there is only one. One light, one life, one God, one mind. That intelligence, that knowing of the ages, that infinite wisdom, that inspiration that reminds us, that divine spark within that reminds us of our true nature. And that love that is the impetus for all creation, that pours itself forth to us, through us, as us out into this life. And so on this day, I claim peace. I claim wholeness. I claim light. Not only for myself, not only for this community and this congregation, but for all beings everywhere. That the light of the divine guides us and inspires us in creating a world that works for all. A world of safety and of peace. A world of respect. A world of honoring one another. For as we walk our paths, we are each walking the path of God. And so on this Palm Sunday, as we step into this Easter week, this time of renewal and rebirth, of once again stepping beyond any sense of limitation that we hold upon ourselves, I know that we do not do this alone, as Jesus did not do this alone. It was the power of God that sourced and supported him, and it is the power of God that sources and supports each and every one of us. And so as we walk through the trials and tribulations of our life, I know that we go guided, supported, and loved from on high, and that Spirit truly does bring forth all that we need and more for a successful expression that we've come here to be and to do and to have. And so I bless this spring day. I bless the joy and the love between us. I bless this gift that we can continue in this spiritual community. And I'm so grateful for the love, the light, the peace, the harmony, and the joy that is God in expression. And so surrendering my word, I know all is well, for God is here. And so it is.
So it is.
Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. Now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go With my faith I see the light. I am free in spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Our affirmation for the week. As I step forward in this week, I open to all possibilities and allow the divine truth to reveal itself as me. And so it is.
So it is.
Happy Sunday, everybody. We love you. We can't wait to see you next week. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.